Think you know the Lakota people? I guarantee you don't. Here are 10 surprising facts you've probably never heard. Number 7 will change the way you see history. Picture this, the endless grasslands of the Great Plains, where the horizon stretches farther than the eye can see. Buffalo herds thunder across the land, darkening the prairie like rolling clouds. A group of riders emerges, their horses moving with speed and grace, blending into the wind. These are the Lakota, people of resilience, spirit, and survival. Most of us grew up hearing only fragments of their story. Maybe a name like Sitting Bull or Crazy Horse. Maybe a schoolbook line about the Sioux. But those fragments are just shadows of a much greater picture. Today, we'll uncover 10 surprising facts about the Lakota people, truths that go far beyond the classroom and reveal a culture that still beats at the heart of North America. So settle in and let's begin. The Lakota are part of a larger family. The word Lakota is one branch of a greater tree. Together with the Dakota and Nakota, they form what is known as the Sioux Nation. Think of it like 3 brothers in one family. Similar roots, but each with their own path, their own language dialect, and their own story. The Lakota became the westernmost branch, roaming across the vast plains. This movement wasn't random. It was survival, adaptation, and strategy. By following the buffalo herds and expanding west, they created a lifestyle perfectly matched to the Great Plains. Masters of the horse culture. When Spanish horses spread north into the plains, the Lakota embraced them like few others. A horse wasn't just an animal. It was freedom, speed, and even wealth. The Lakota became some of the greatest horsemen in the world. Imagine being able to ride bareback at full speed, controlling a horse with your knees while your hands carried bow and arrow. To outsiders, it looked like chaos, but to the Lakota, it was a dance of perfect control. Horses transformed their world. They changed hunting, warfare, and even social rank. A Lakota warrior wasn't measured by gold, but by the horses he owned and the courage he showed in battle. The buffalo was life. For the Lakota, the buffalo was more than food. It was everything. Every part of the animal was used. Meat for sustenance, hides for clothing and teepees, bones for tools, sinew for bowstrings, even the stomach for water containers. To waste was unthinkable. But there was also a spiritual bond. The buffalo was sacred, a living symbol of generosity and survival. When the herds dwindled due to overhunting by outsiders, it wasn't just an ecological disaster, it was a cultural wound that cut deep. A language of depth and poetry. The Lakota language is not just words, it's music, rhythm, and metaphor. For example, the word for horse translates to sacred dog. The name for the plains translates to endless land. These weren't just labels, they were poetry built into everyday speech. Here's the fascinating part. The language is still alive. Across reservations and communities in the Dakotas, elders and young learners are working to keep it strong. Because when you lose a language, you lose a worldview. And the Lakota refuse to let theirs disappear. Teepees, ingenious homes of the plains. When most people picture native life, they think of the teepee. But few realize just how ingenious this design really was. Teepees were portable, yet strong, warm in the winter and cool in the summer. A family could pack up their entire home in under an hour, load it onto a travois pulled by horses, and move with the buffalo herds. Inside, the fire was centered beneath a smoke hole, and families gathered around in a circle, symbolic of life itself. The teepee wasn't just a shelter. It was a philosophy made into wood, hide, and fire. Enjoying the story? Don't forget to subscribe for more. Spiritual traditions and the Great Mystery. Lakota spirituality was rooted in Wakan Tanka, the Great Mystery. This wasn't a single god, but a sacred force that connected all living things: sky, land, animals, people, and spirit. Ceremonies like the sun dance weren't just rituals. They were acts of sacrifice, healing, and renewal for the entire community. Songs carried prayers, drums carried heartbeats, and every part of life was woven into something larger than the individual. Legendary leaders who changed history. Think of names like Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse. These weren't just warriors, they were visionaries. Sitting Bull was a spiritual leader who united tribes to resist oppression, leading to the famous victory at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Crazy Horse was remembered for his humility, refusing to be photographed, and his fierce defense of his people's way of life. These leaders weren't kings or dictators. Their power came from respect, wisdom, and the ability to inspire, and their legacy still inspires today. Storytelling was their library. The Lakota didn't have written books. Their history lived in stories, songs, and winter counts. A kind of pictorial calendar painted on hides, with each symbol marking a major event of the year. A single story could pass down lessons for generations, tales of bravery, of mistakes, of the origins of the people. In a world without paper, their voices were their archive, and every child grew up listening around the fire. The long walks and hardships. History was challenging for the Lakota. As settlers moved westward, they faced shrinking lands, broken treaties, and significant changes to their way of life. The buffalo herds declined, reservations became smaller, and many children were sent to schools far from home. It was a period of struggle, resilience, and adaptation. But here's what's important. The Lakota persevered. Through every challenge, they preserved their language, songs, traditions, and pride. Their story is one of endurance and cultural strength. Lakota culture lives on. Today, Lakota culture is not a relic. It's alive. From powwows to language classes, from traditional arts to modern activism, the Lakota continue to shape the story of North America. Young people learn the songs of their ancestors, while also thriving in today's world as artists, leaders, and storytellers. Their resilience is proof that culture can bend without breaking, and that the spirit of a people can survive even the harshest storms. Which fact surprised you the most? Share it in the comments, and if you want to dive deeper, check out our Native American History playlist here on Native American Origins. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories every week.